totally agree with the article. The title of the article freaked me out, which is why it kind of caught my eye. So, but it's not, I mean, I get it. All right. So he says here that, I love his first point. He's like, in my 28 years on the planet, I've learned two things. The sun rises every morning and marketers screw everything up, right? That's also another, big Gary Vaynerchuk quote, right? He's always like, marketers ruin everything, which I totally get. So his first example of this is, should we just run down the article?
Sure.
You ready? Okay. So the first example is he's searching best headphones. Okay. And his point that he's making here is that no result on the first page is an actual product page. So what's coming up in SERP and, is what Google has learned. Google has all the data. They're learning how to use that data. They want to serve up what people want to see. And, according to this, what they want to see is sort of like lists, like here's the top 10 best, whatever it is, headphones, here's, it's kind of like these aggregated content as opposed to the product pages. And we can get more onto his theory on what's going on with the product pages, which again, I agree with. And then he does restaurants in Miami. So instead of actual restaurant websites coming up as answers to that search, they're getting, the 3-pack obviously is going to be there, and things like TripAdvisor and other aggregators, because people don't want just one, maybe one website to the one restaurant. They want an aggregated list with ratings and by type and by style. So this is kind of how people are searching, what they click on when they perform these searches. Right, Dan?
So techbloke.com kind of made my point for me, which is like a lot of these examples are sort of loaded examples.
They are, yeah.
The query itself is asking for comparisons or reviews. But I think if it's another thing to be like, I want to rank number one for like widescreen television or something where I'm not necessarily looking for, or a more kind of product specific thing or a service specific thing, right? So like if I look up like SEO companies, I don't get like a aggregated list of like 5,000 SEO companies necessarily. I mean, maybe I haven't done the actual search, but I haven't done any actual research or work whatsoever. But I think it's like, some of this, and this is not always a thing, but it's like, here's kind of what I feel like is going on. Okay. Google in many ways, right, promotes an approach to SEO that is largely brand oriented, meaning like create content, like be really great. Like that's like their thing, like be really great. And like, we'll find you and we'll rank you for you. And like, yeah. And it's like, that doesn't particularly work very well. It doesn't. It's like a 9 million year job. And when you're playing that game, of course, like major corporations beat you out 99% of the time, right? So sorry, I gotta.
Is that you?
Yeah, it's my stupid Google Voice I hate how it like calls on my computer too.
Yeah.
It's like, so someone's calling me on the phone, but now I can't find the tab that's open that has some sort of Google sound playing. In any case, so that kind of approach doesn't work. So then SEOs are largely put in the place of having to explain why the thing that's best practice doesn't particularly work really well in creating actual like numbers that people want to see, right? And it's one of the reasons I think pay-per-click is such an easier sell nowadays. It's because it's like, oh, it actually resulted in a sale. I did something and you got a sale. I did something and you got money. Whereas like I started a blog and I'm like working on your thing and it's like even though the terminology is vague, it's like everything's so vague.
Right.
That it's like instead we spend all our time talking about like changing the goalpost rather than changing what we do.
Right.
I don't know. I always get this feeling where it's like so much of, if you look at like what Moz blogs about,
right.
What percentage of Moz blogs would you say are about justifying the fact that SEOs should exist? Right? It's like, that's kind of like what they're all about. It's like, I feel like everyone's on the verge of suicide and we're all trying to get like talked down from the ledge. So we're like, no, it's totally legit, man. Like it's not you. It's that, you know what I mean? I don't know. I get this weird feeling all the time. I don't know if you feel any of that or if I'm just kind of being irrational.
It goes like this. My clients come to me and their issue is, I need to make more sales. I need to get more clients. I need more traffic to my website. I need more conversions, whatever that means, right? And I look after, kind of analyzing what they've got going on. There's a bunch of different levers that I can pull, Dan, right? Like there's a bunch of different things. Who are you targeting? Where do they hang out? How can we get your message amplified? What are all the different steps and tools that I have that I can apply to that problem, which is to, increase that traffic, increase those sales, find those customers. And I think, paid is one of them. I think the status of your website is another. Are you doing the right things? Have you optimized yourself for search? Does it speak to the search engines? Can you be found? Are you taking advantage? Are you at parity with your competitors? Like all of, so there's all of that. And then there's, as he points out in this article, I was kind of saving this for later, but I'll jump into the big hammer now. He's saying, don't think of search as just Google, right? It is Yelp. You're searching on Yelp. You're searching on Facebook. You're searching on Twitter. You're searching on all these other channels. He mentions Pinterest. So it's like you need to be optimized for all of those opportunities and be there when your clients, customers, and best visitors are looking for you. When they're searching for you and your services and your products, be found, right? So that's kind of
But a lot of what you just talked about,
mm-hmm.
I would consider not even SEO, but just basic stuff. You need to have a website. Like saying, can you be found? You're basically saying it was like, did you do the barest possible minimum of stuff? And yes, there are people that need that. And that's SEO.
Yeah.
Everything else where it's like optimizing for Yelp. How the hell do you optimize for Yelp? Like, what do you actually do to do that?
Oh, I know. Are you asking?
But even that, it's like, so, well, you don't actually know that. You think you know that, but you don't know because they haven't told you that. Okay. Yelp doesn't say here's our algorithm, reverse engineer it. Everything we do is guesswork.
Right, exactly. But here's the thing. If, for Yelp in particular, I would say that there's a couple things that you can do. One is, how is your profile set up? Is your name, address, phone numbers, your NAP correct across all boards and other kind of citations so you can be found?
Okay, so here's an excellent question. Are citations actually a Yelp ranking factor? I doubt it. I highly doubt citations do anything.
Well, no, here's the thing. But if they are the same and consistent across the board, it goes to everything from brand recognition to, that's the right place if I'm going to.
Okay, but I'm going to be such a dick about this.
You really
recognition is not SEO. It's completely outside the realm of computers and has nothing to do with technical optimization whatsoever. And how much does the standardness of your citation affect your brand recognition? I know who Coca-Cola is. I couldn't tell you what their address is.
Okay. Well, no, that's okay. That's okay. But when you're the citation stuff is important when you're a local service provider or a local business, right? When you're doing, you've got a brick and mortar business or you're serving a service area to be found. There's a bunch of these different, sites, right? Yellow Pages, Super Pages, a bunch of these kind of places that kind of have your listing, right? So is that listing kind of the same across the board? Can it be, are the search engines recognizing it as kind of like the same? I just yesterday spoke to a client that is using literally 4 different names for their same business. It's either changed over the years or they're dropping off words and names off their thing. So that's just important. We were talking in terms of Yelp. So I was going to say, make sure that you're taking advantage of the profile, right? You've got the right description. You've got your best products or dishes or what you're known for is being in the right place within the listing itself, right? Your address makes sense. You've got photos up there, that kind of stuff. So that's one thing that I would do to optimize it, make sure that it's right and best. And then the other thing is, are you taking advantage of your delighted customers by encouraging and or making it easy for them to actually leave you reviews and
Okay.
legitimate,
Also,
honest
doesn't
reviews.
have anything to do with a computer, though. So here's my whole thing. What does it have to do with the computer? If someone comes into the thing and I say, make sure you go on Yelp and what's
not in person. You could follow up with an email. You could reach out on any other format.
My website anymore. Okay, so here's the
You
thing.
could have links on your website that say.
Here's the thing. This is already we're outside the realm of SEO. Yeah. We're gone from SEO. Not SEO anymore. I would argue the second you started talking about filling out a profile on Yelp, it's not SEO because you don't own the site and you don't own any equity in that site. You don't own any of that traffic. They own the traffic.
But it's still a search engine. You're still searching for restaurants or pizza shops or plumbers on Yelp. You're looking for reviews and you want to optimize how you're shown. I don't own Google either, but that's how people are finding me.
Yeah, so okay.
Maybe.
So for Yelp, we've got fill out your profile
Mm-hmm.
and tell people to review you.
Make it easy to get those reviews from the most delighted customers. Don't you smack it.
Anybody that's going to review you on Yelp already knows how. They don't need your help. And anybody that doesn't know how isn't going to review you.
That could be true.
I'm being a dick on purpose.
You are. I see this.
But I don't know. This doesn't justify to me the existence of what we do.
Oh, stuff. So listen, there were a couple interesting questions here. Can we hit up the feed? Does anybody else need the link to the article? It might be worth re-adding that here. We are discussing. Yeah, YouTube is totally a search engine. I agree. It absolutely.
Get the traffic. Google sends the traffic to your site sometime. Yelp doesn't.
Well, okay. So here's okay. Thanks. Somebody else started. All right. So wait, there was a question up here that I wanted to. There's a question. Justin has a question. What do professionals offer in way of SEO that the average person cannot? Is it about keeping up with ongoing changes of various search engines? I guess what I'm getting to is, has SEO become simpler or harder over time? And how does this affect the need for SEO services?
That's an excellent question.
It is an excellent question.
I would say they've gotten, it's gotten, what is supposed to be SEO has gotten more basic, but it's also become much less effective. And largely what I would say is that what you're seeing now is increasingly a fundamental hardening of the top kind of biggest competitors into most of the dominant money-making spaces in Google. Mm-hmm. And largely it's becoming a pay-to-play model where you have to pay in order to jump the line. And that for most companies, if you're like a micro niche level and you're like, I sell pizza in a 5-mile radius, there's still movement. And everywhere else, it feels more and more fossilized to me. I don't know if that's actually borne out, but that's what it feels like. I don't know.
I think SEO used to be a lot easier. Back in the day where you could stuff metadata with a bunch of keywords and cheat the system. And again, this was
easier for technical people to do, but harder for non-technical people to do. Now it's easier for non-technical people to do. I can set up a blog and start blogging. And if that's content marketing, I'm content marketing. But the actual amount of movement has become much harder to impact, right?
Right.
This is why you get so many people who research SEO and they say like, okay, great, I need to create great content. And they go out and they blog for 3 years and they don't get a single person from the website ever.
Right. Right.
And I would argue that that's not because they don't have citations or whatever, right? It's because things are fundamentally kind of stacked against them.
Right.
And I don't know. Maybe I think that's bullshit. I can't tell what I think anymore. So here's an interesting indicator.
Okay.
I am rolling out an SEO service for the clients that I have that do PPC.
Okay.
The things I'm including in that SEO service that I actually think are important are ongoing content creation.
Okay.
YouTube video creation.
Okay.
Split testing on site. And that is literally it.
Okay.
And stuff like internal cross-linking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for me, that is almost
What about link building? Are you doing any inbound link
almost
building?
none. Almost
Really?
none. I mean, some. We're going to do some. I don't know exactly like how I'm going to go about systemizing that in
Right.
terms of a process that we do every month. But
Uh-huh.
we'll do some of it. But it's like for local businesses, right? There aren't a ton of links to generate, right? So it's like you do the bare minimum, and guess what? Like, so did everybody else. Large. So for me, it's like the challenge is the ongoing content piece. And content creation, I would argue, is not really SEO. It gets lumped into SEO because we don't know what else to call it, because we need something to do because we feel bad.
I don't know. I think my friend Brian, I don't know if he's here yet. I hope he is. I think that you could be very strategic about the content that you create in order to be found on search engines. I mean, if you weren't looking to rank in Google, if you weren't looking to be, kind of discovered, then what are you doing? You might as well write a letter to yourself and put it in a hole in the tree, right? And then
Well, right.
somebody comes across it.
I mean, we can rank for a bunch of stuff, but what's the actual end value of it? So, like, put it this way. So I just did an analysis. I have a client who runs a ton. This is per pay-per-click. Runs a ton of AdWords keywords. Right. Very high volumes, doing $1,000 a day budget on multiple campaigns. Mm-hmm. He runs a crap ton. And I was like, I'm curious, like, there's a bunch of stuff that's sort of defunct campaigns from before I started working with him, right? And we've created stuff. And so I'm curious, like, how many keywords are in this campaign as a whole? So I just downloaded them all as a spreadsheet. And he's got 57,714 keywords in this account. Okay?
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay. So, not counting duplicates or whatever, just that have ever run ever. Many of them are lost. But still, even if you look at his active campaigns, easily in the 3,000 to 5,000 range. Okay. Then I was like, let's run a filter. Which keywords in the lifetime of this account have driven 5 conversions or more at a cost of $100 a conversion or less? And it's 27.
Mm-hmm.
So much the same way with SERPs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I rank for a whole shit ton of keywords.
Right.
Only 3 or 4 will actually ever matter to my business, right? Or is that not right? Do I have that wrong? It's like I feel like there's a lot of work that goes into SEO for comparatively little movement in the thing that actually matters, or am I wrong?
Right. I don't know. I feel also what gets in the way here, not only clients not understanding how this stuff goes. I'm sort of changing your question, not understanding how this goes, but also I think the ego gets in the way and gets confused. I think people are Googling themselves and their businesses and their products, and they're seeing what's happening with their competitors, and they're seeing that as I'm losing to this, or why am I not above this guy? And I think it becomes an ego issue, right? I need to be first for these terms and for these words, but really, what you're saying makes sense. Well, okay, what does that get you? Where are you converting on these words? Have you ever converted on these words? Pay to understand what's working for you and kind of what's not. But it's but I get the ego with even the ads. I'm looking for this. But Dan, what is your now? In full disclosure, I also run a lot of campaigns, paid campaigns per month too, right? I'm doing. You and I both kind of share that as a delivery.
Why is that full disclosure?
Well, because I want to make a point. When you search online, are you clicking on paid ads, or are you having your blinders up where you're not looking there? You're looking organically.
I click ads all the time.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I actually click on ads for companies I know I'm already going to. So like I'll constantly Google things like Dropbox login.
Yeah. And then choose the paid over the organic, which is the first
I do all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know, partially that could just be because I'm always looking at ads.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do most of the time now. So I'm probably not typical, but we've had this conversation before. We all know that the data shows that paid traffic converts much higher and has a much higher ROI than organic traffic.
Does it send me that test? I'm curious. I
I cannot. Someone said that to me once, and I was just like, put that in the old arsenal of data. And I'm never gonna.
I don't know. I mean, Moz doesn't say that. Moz says that the first 3 organic listings do better than the paid ads. But I think it depends on the market. I think it depends on what you're looking for. And if the whole first page of SERP is not actual service delivery people, but the paid ads are, maybe that's kind of what you choose to click on. But yeah, so I don't know if there's other questions here. Do you see something else coming in?
No, I mean, I think it's like kind of coming back to it. It's like I'm sort of being facetious in this. Every time we have this argument, I go further and further to one side in this like nihilistic thing. Part of it is part of my challenge with this is that I think in SEO, this gets into my whole. This is going to touch on other things I'm thinking about all the time, but I think part of the challenge with me, right, is that SEO as an industry. If you're thinking about SEO as a way of like as your job is basically to make people money, right? That's like my whole job. It sucks. I think about Young Dan and how I wanted to be an artist and like all this cool stuff, and I'm like, if Young Dan saw what I did all day, he'd like punch himself in the face. He'd be so pissed off, right? So,
right.
Anyway, my whole job is to make rich people richer. That's my whole job. So I'm like, all right. So SEO is a way of doing that, and a potentially very valuable way of doing that as a tool of many, right? But the problem is like, so to get to that point, because there's no SEO training school, you don't go to college for SEO. What do? You go online and you find everybody that's blogging about SEO, and you find the SEO schools and stuff, and you follow all these people, right? All of these people who have been trained since the first day that they thought they wanted to do SEO, that the way you do SEO is by creating content. Well, guess what? There's not that much fucking content to create about this crap. And so you have all these sites are like producing all this stuff. And I think what happens is like, if you are plugged into it the way that we are, you start to see all this stuff. There's people, I got to produce a blog post this week. I got to make this week. I got to do this. And then your clients are doing it. And they start to be awash in a sea of mediocre garbage that means nothing. And so the kernel that's there of actual stuff that matters, you learned 2 years ago, and you've just, yes, exactly. You have spent the last 3 years of your life reading blog posts by some jackass who's got to fulfill like a word count because his company is selling ads. Is anyone with me on this? Am I the only one that I feel beset from all sides by people who just want to take my money and make me feel inadequate? And it's weird. No?
Cheers. I'm with you. Can we also talk about the micro celebrityism of gurus out there and how they're all saying the same thing?
Yeah. Not speaking about by this all article.
Day long.
Not speaking about the guy that wrote this article specifically. Actually,
no, he's amazing. He actually does real work.
But it is there's this like weird internet. I think micro celebrity is the perfect way to put this.
It is.
It's not even celebrity though. It's not like celebrity like, wow, that guy plays basketball really well. Oh
no, it's I want 100,000 followers on the Twitter, and I fly all over and speak, and this is kind of, listen to what I'm espousing. Even though you can learn everything about that thing on the internet or on YouTube.
Well, right, but it's different though, because you weren't like going online and searching for like really talented SEO superstar, and then that guy was the first guy that came up. Instead, much of SEO to me, it feels much more like PR, where I'm like, hey, like, and I've got nothing against that. Like when I started the brand that I'm running now, we started at the beginning of this year. I didn't do any SEO. All I did was reach out to people that were already known and say, hey, can we have a partnership, or hey, can you promote me? That worked better than any SEO I've ever done. And that's PR. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But it's not SEO. No. It just makes me feel
I'm doing all that stuff. I've got SEO on my name.
That actually brings us full circle to the actual point of this article, which is just don't call it SEO. It's not SEO. It's something else, right? So if you said, hey, the metric, the key performance indicator for what I do is traffic, and I'm going to generate you traffic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not SEO, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you on Oprah.
Yeah. No.
Holy shit, who cares what you call it? You know what I mean? It's SEO Oprah. Call it SEO Oprah. That works as well. You blow up and make $1 billion. So, you know what I mean? But it's like instead we get this sort of wishy-washy in the middle thing where we're trying to like justify the existence of the industry.
Right.
When the industry itself is not really even there anymore. Is it?
I think it is. I kind of think it is. So here's the thing. I think this is where the term inbound marketing makes sense, right?
No one likes the term inbound marketing.
Inbound
marketing is a garbage term. No one likes it.
It's not. It's a thing.
Look, this is what we call it. I've got it. Seriously.
Right? It's a thing. Tell me.
Leads come in. Money comes out. It's the old in and out. No? Nobody? Nobody the old in and out?
No.
God, you guys are uncultured. You don't get that right. Anyway. Inbound marketing.
I like inbound
marketing. It sounds like I'm getting mail in my house, and I'm like, oh, it's all this inbound marketing.
No, that's technically outbound marketing.
See, hook SEO gets the joke. That was the joke. See, the old in and out. He got it. I don't know. Yeah. So okay, what's something cool that we can call it? What's something cool that we can call it that's not SEO?
You and I are going to rename SEO. We're going to create a.
But in all honesty, okay. So if we don't call this SEO anymore, all right, because, like this guy says in his thing, mm-hmm. right? Don't call it SEO anymore. Clients, when they come to you, you have to tell them what you do.
Right.
You're at a cocktail party.
I make your phone ring. I make you money. I drive your sales.
Oh, that's cool. You work for the phone company?
No. But there are.
You know the ring? You know the ring? It's me. I do that.
Yeah.
I'm the ringtone guy.
Yeah, it's almost like a telethon. You hear the bell ring and you're like, ding, ding, yay.
I do all the ringing noises. I'm a ringtone designer.
Oh, stop it. No, but I mean, that's what I do.
Lead generation's good. Okay. I like lead generation.
I still like inbound marketing. I like, I like the fact that I can track everything that I do and get real metrics on what's working and what's not, right? Do more of what's working and less of what's not. So I don't believe that business owners, there was a question earlier of, can we do it ourselves, or, what would we hire you for? Isn't there something that we can do ourselves? I think business owners, a lot of the ones that I deal with, especially, don't want to deal with their website. They don't know, they can work their email. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, they've got another business to run. They've got something else to do. And they know when they're busy and they know when they are not busy, and they know where their competitors are ranking compared to themselves. And that's, again, that kind of speaks to either ego or reality, right? I'm getting beat up by my competitors. There's no reason why I should be getting beat up by my competitors. What can we do to fix that? Mm. And, they come to, experts and professionals like you and I that can, move that needle for them, whether that's.
I think part of it, right, is the challenge of, if you are like most people in our industry now, roughly our age, mm. You remember, yeah, you're welcome. You're like, yeah, that was to make up for literally the entire first 45 minutes.
I hate you.
You came up, people like me and you, right, came up with a time where we taught ourselves how to do all this stuff, and it was largely a technical pursuit.
I actually went to college for this stuff.
Yeah, whatever.
You was the last time an English teacher.
That major in whatever it was. So you remember a time where you're teaching yourself to do a primarily technical skill, and that primarily technical skill had a direct correlation to results you could see in real time, and that's a really intoxicating feeling, right? And now it's much more like classical marketing, in that you do a bunch of stuff, guys stand around a whiteboard and they talk about engagement and identity and all these things that don't really mean anything. And then you do a bunch of crap and like some stuff happens and some stuff doesn't. And you're like, nah, pay me a bunch of money. And you sit around with your horn rim glasses. Both of us, right? And like, office, it's mostly white. It's got a glass table. And that's kind of what it's like. And it admittedly, it kind of has to be that because the old stuff doesn't really do anything anymore. But I think if you remember that feeling of being able to like actually cause a reaction very quickly,
yes,
it's hard to let that go and just be like, that's not what it's about anymore.
Right.
That's not what it is anymore, right? All right, we got a question. Let's do a question. Do you think people are overthinking, overcomplicating SEO or intermarketing in general? My gut feeling says yes, but what do you think? I have a whole theory about this, which is that 98% of all business problems don't need marketing. They need a better offer. That's kind of like I stole that from Jay Abraham, and I really feel like my own business totally shifted when I made my core offer better. And I think like almost everything that people try to do with SEO, what they're really trying to do is grow a business that's never going to grow that much because their offer kind of sucks. So I'm a kind of big believer in that. And but in terms of like overthinking SEO,
yeah,
it's very complicated. In all reality, it's very complicated.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think not, if you come to me with issues that people aren't converting on your website, you're not getting the business that you think you should, something stopped working, you can't just say the problem is always SEO. The problems can be, a myriad of problems. It could be usability issues. It could be that, your web presence, your website, your landing pages are just, bad. There's a lot of bad websites out there, right? There's a lot of bad experiences. So, one of the things I always say is, you need to build for the humans, but take into account the robots, right? So I kind of swing at the issues that my clients have at both of those. Okay, what am I supposed to do when I land here? What's the static? What's the friction that's in the way between me and doing business with you, or me and contacting you, or picking up the phone, or submitting my email address to you, right? So for me, it's getting all that distraction and nonsense out of the way, making sure that the experience makes sense, making sure that the users are getting those top 10 things that they've come to your website for, right? How do I reach out to you?
I don't even believe that anymore.
No, I do. Ready? So when you're shopping, and put it into like a local services kind of context, but do you do the thing that I'm looking for? Do you solve my problem? Do you do it for me where I am, either locally or online or in the format that I care about? What is your prices? Right? Like, how much is your stuff? Don't make me call you and ask you how much it's gonna cost me. In most cases, it makes sense to put your pricing out there, right? What are the other ones? Yeah, phone number, address, that kind of thing. Like, there's a handful of things that everybody always wants to know about almost everything, and you need to not hide that shit. You need to make that easy to find, because someone's going to land on your site, and then
But that's like an hour of work, right?
No, it's you need to assess what's going on. You need to figure out who the audience is.
Everybody always needs it.
No, I'm saying the problems are different. I don't know what the problem is between you and doing more business online, or you and
I don't know what your problem is either.
This conversation is
over. I do actually have to go. I'll start it.
I can drink the whole beer. This conversation is dropping me to
I'm trying to jump in, and I've been kind of stopping them, so you can continue with those folks.
I got work to do.
Yeah, I got work to do too. But it's been an interesting conversation. We will continue, I'm sure, to revisit this conversation in 3 years when Google just stops sending traffic to your website altogether and instead just displays your website inside Google. We can then talk about how our new goal is to achieve maximum facial recognition from our cyborg overlords. And, that'll be the thing. And so
I just want to thank everybody. We've had a lot of really fun engagement today. This has been a really spirited discussion. I like the questions. This is really cool. I'm still going to offer SEO as part of my toolbox of things to help my clients, especially where it makes sense.
I'm going to continue to say it primarily because that's what my clients say when they say what they want.
Right.
but it's not actually what it
You
is.
give them what they need, not what they're asking for.
Like, it's like if someone came into your bakery and they're like, can I have a loaf of bread? And you're like, absolutely. And then you just give them a wedding cake. And you're like, that's what you need, even though it's not what you asked for. And they'd be like, thank you. And it's like the little things on top. It's like a groom and a lizard. And they're like, and you're like, trust me, that's what you needed. I know it's not what you wanted, nor is it what you asked for, but I think it's what you need. Please pay me a bunch of money now.
Monthly. Repeatedly.
Every month.
Yes.
This is an ongoing thing. You can't just eat this one wedding cake with a groom and a lizard. You have to eat this every month. Otherwise, you're not going to see any results.
All right.
You also are not going to see results for the entire first year, but I promise something is happening.
And if we stop, it's all going to go downhill.
The numbers just start scrolling up the screen. I'm like, do you see all these numbers? I made these numbers for you. Please pay me now.
All right.
All right. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. I swear to God, it's not always like this. Usually we're very nice to each other. We will be back next week, noon Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. Check us here, blab.im. I think you can follow Patty or you can follow me on Blab, and then we'll announce it when the Blab is happening. You can look for us. Or you just Google SEO and IPA, ironically enough, and we'll come up. We're at least like 5th position for SEO and IPA now. And we really appreciate it as always. Patty, as always, you are an intelligent and nimble sparring partner who challenges me to change my thinking on things and maybe not be such a bastard all the time.
That's right. Stop being such a dick, Dan.
I don't promise anything. I can promise only that I'll try. And as always, guys, please optimize responsibly.
Optimize responsibly.
All right, we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Cheers.